Real quick, I just wanted to announce that we have a Discord server. The link is in the description below. Come hang out with like-minded people, and I'll be accepting battles there periodically. Historically, Victreebel has not been great competitively, even spending much of its competitive tenure untiered, and now finding itself in the 0 usage tier. But today, I'm here to show you that Victreebel doesn't need a Mega Evolution to shine bright. With a chandelier on its head and a bit of elbow grease and a whole lot of prayers, Victreebel can f*** shit up with the best of them. So the battle begins. My opponent is going to lead off with his Mismagius as I lead off with my Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which is my Regirock. So turn 1, I didn't want to over-predict or anything. I just went for the Stealth Rocks as my opponent is going to go for the predictable trick. So now he's going to trick me some choice specs, and that is not a good position to be in if you're a Regirock. So he's going to get rid of my Heat Rock. This Regirock is like a Gen 4 Sunsetter set that I found. Look, if you're in the depths of ZU, Sunsetters are hard to come by, all right? I had to do what I must. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out now, bring out the Lantern. So Lantern, funny thing about Lantern, it can eat special attacks all day long. So this Dazzling Gleam does adorable damage. I'm actually Modest, Assault Vest, max special attack and max special defense. So yeah, we're eating attacks from that Miss Maggie all day long. So my opponent is going to swap out into the Big Show, which is the stupid Snorlax that has been the bane of my existence this whole battle. You'll see. I go for the Discharge on the predicted swap, trying to catch something with like a paralysis, but unfortunately it doesn't happen. I'm going to go ahead now and go for the Volt Switch and get the hell up out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the Hitmontop because I can pretty much take anything this Snorlax wants to go for, as my opponent goes for Curse. So this is Curselax. So this thing is definitely scary. He's probably got Rest and possibly Sleep Talk too. Knowing that my opponent has the Miss Maggie in the back, I try to make a sneaky play though. I don't go for the fighting move. Instead, I go for Triple Axle, which is like a 3-hit ice move. And unfortunately for me, it has 90 accuracy, so unfortunately I missed. So he does bring out the Miss Maggie though. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out, and I don't want to let my Hitmontop get burned by Will-O-Wisp, so I'm gonna go ahead and swap back out into the Regirock because I figure if anybody on my team has to get Will-O-Wisps, I would probably prefer it to be my choice specs freaking Regirock. So he's just going to go for Dazzling Gleam. It doesn't do too much damage. My opponent decides to swap out. I figured, looking at his team, pretty much everything is hit at least neutrally by the Stone Edge, as my opponent brings out Dash Bun, which is like this new fairy type. People use it as like a wish support type mon. So that Stone Edge actually does a decent amount of damage. It also has I think it has a heightened crit chance too, if I'm not mistaken. So my opponent's going to go for the Body Press now. It doesn't really do too much damage, but I mean, we're just 2 walls hanging out. And yeah, I go for another Stone Edge, basically fishing for the crit. And yeah, I mean, I think Regirock's days are basically done here, but I am at least able to take this Dash Bun out before Regirock dies. So Regirock at least did something this battle other than be like a Sunsetter whore. So now my opponent is going to bring out the Cryogonal. So I basically just Regirock, there's nothing it can do at this point. It's low health, it's slow as shit. So I just leave it in to die at this point because there's really nothing else it can do. Honestly, I wish Regirock got a Cell Rock. That would be so fucking cool. So now I'm gonna bring out Marnie. So this little Kmart Pikachu thing this set is hilarious. So I'm actually Adamant Nature because I figure it needed all the help it could possibly get. And I have the Metronome on this thing. So the idea is basically just to come in and spam Aura Wheel, and that actually takes out the Cryogonal in one freaking shot. That was crazy. So now my opponent is going to bring out the Vikavolt, and I was kind of hoping, you know, you get a 20% boost every time you use something with the Metronome. I was kind of hoping with that 20% boost it would kill. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So this little Kmart Pikachu thing is going to die to a Bug Buzz. I don't think that crit mattered at all. That thing is like paper frail. So I'm just gonna bring out the Whimsicott now and go for, this thing is slow as shit, so, or not Whimsicott, but Vikavolt is slow as shit, so I know that I can just kill it with a Moonblast. So Now my opponent is going to bring out this damn Snorlax, and Whimsicott has no damn business being on the field with a Snorlax. So I'm going to get the fuck out of Dodge. And yeah, so I'm going to just bring out Carlton once again, because, I mean, honestly, what's Snorlax really going to do? So my opponent is going to show that he does have rest. I was a little bit afraid of him having like rest, sleep talk or whatever. But we'll see that he actually doesn't. So he's basically just resto chesto, which is honestly fine for me, I think. So I'm going to try my little sneaky tactic again and go for the triple axle. As my opponent, he goes and pops his Terra. So he's actually Terra Ghost on Snorlax. As I go for the triple axle, I actually do land, but it doesn't do much damage because I'm assuming he has like Thick Fat as his ability. So at this point, I don't really see any point in keeping Hitmontop around. So I'm just going to stay in here and try to get as much damage. Here's my thought process. I was kind of hoping to get Snorlax low enough that my opponent would not go for rest, but also low enough that Victreebel could come in and one-shot this thing. That was kind of my thought process there. And yeah, so I'm going to bring out the Whimsicott now. And I was kind of banking on Whimsicott dying this turn, but apparently, so I go for the Sunny Day, and somehow Whimsicott manages to survive a heavy slam, a super effective heavy slam from a Snorlax. I was kind of hoping to die, but I mean, whatever. I go for a Moonblast. It does a little bit extra damage. Unfortunately for me, though, my opponent is going to go for the damn rest again. So I kind of feel confident that he does not have the sleep talk. And I know because he went for rest, I know he has to stay asleep for 2 more turns. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the U-turn on the first turn, bringing out the Victreebel in the sun. So Victreebel in the sun, it has an ability called Chlorophyll, and it doubles its speed. And then I know he has to take his second turn of sleep. I'm going to go for the Growth. Now, Growth also has an interaction in the sun. Normally, it's a +1 boost to attack and special attack. But in the sun, it is a +2 boost. So now I have +2 special attack, +2 speed. I basically am all in on Victreebel at this point. So I go ahead and pop my Terra. I'm Terra Fire. I go for the Solar Beam. Unfortunately for me, oh my god, this was so scary. I go for the Solar Beam. It doesn't kill, but it brings it pretty damn close. But unfortunately, he's going to wake up. And he goes for the Body Slam. And I was like shitting bricks because I was praying he didn't get the para. And thank God he didn't get the para. And another Solar Beam is going to be able to kill off his freaking Snorlax. Oh my god, this Snorlax was a holy terror this battle. I've never been so scared of a Snorlax in my life. So now my opponent only has 1 mon left, and I think it's Miss Maggie. And thankfully, because of the sun and because I'm timid nature, I'm sorry, he does have Veluza, but honestly, Veluza, there is nothing Veluza can do. He's already popped his Terra, so there's no way in hell Veluza is living a Solar Beam. And then now my opponent has only 1 mon left, and it's the Miss Maggie. But thankfully, in the sun, I outspeed, and basically all my cards are on if Weather Ball in the sun is going to be able to kill off Miss Magius. And thankfully for me, it actually does kill, because Miss Magius actually has surprisingly high special defense. So I was a little scared, but at +2 in the sun, that is a dead Miss Magius, and that is game. Good game, Shino. That was an awesome game, man. That Snorlax was really, really scary. All right, game 2, my opponent is going to lead off with his Love Disc as I lead off with my Whimsicott. I kind of figured my opponent's probably not going to stay in here, so I went for the U-turn to try to maintain momentum. My opponent is going to swap in the Pyroar, and Whimsicott is going to get the fuck out of Dodge. And look at my team, I'm pretty sure that Lantern is probably the best thing to go into right now. Lantern or the Hitmontop, but I choose Lantern because I have special defense investment and I'm Assault Vest. I can pretty much eat up anything this Pyro wants to go for. I kind of figured my opponent would swap though, not wanting to lose a fire type to a water type, but he actually stays in. And I predict another switch there, but obviously he didn't. So I went for Volt Switch, and I figure I'll bring out Hitmontop now. So I wasn't sure if my opponent was going to swap or not. So I go for the Mach Punch as they bring in Arbok. So that's fine. We can get at least a little chip damage. My opponent's got the Intimidate. It's going to drop my attack by a stage. But I don't really plan on staying in here because Hitmontop really can't do anything to this Arbok, especially at -1 attack. So now I'm going to bring out Reggie. I keep wanting to say Regigigas for some reason. It's Regirock. So I bring out Regirock as my opponent goes for a coil that's going to raise his attack, defense, and accuracy. I kind of figure I can take pretty much anything this thing wants to do. So I just go for the Stealth Rocks to get those up. And anytime my opponent swaps in now, he's going to take a little damage. So my opponent does go for Earthquake. It doesn't even do half. And this Regirock it's so damn bulky. I don't even have defense investment. So he goes for a second Earthquake. I go for an Earthquake of my own. And unfortunately that doesn't kill him, but it brings him down pretty low that I'm pretty sure anything I bring in can kill this thing now. So he's going to go for the Scale Shot. That is going to raise his speed and attack, I believe, while lowering his defense. Normally this Arbok would be pretty scary, but I do have a Hitmontop with Mach Punch, as you guys have seen. And after the defense drop, I'm positive that a Mach Punch is going to be able to kill this Arbok. So that is exactly what I go for. And I don't know, I guess he just left this thing in to die for fodder. I don't know. So now my opponent is going to, let's see, he brings in the freaking Love Disc. So I've never battled a Love Disc before. So I just decided I'm going to go back out into Lantern because I can take anything this thing wants to go for. So my opponent is going to go for, he's going to set up the rain for me. That's going to power up my water attacks as well as his, but I can take pretty much anything this Love Disc is wanting to throw at me, except for he Terras. So he's Terra Grass, and he goes for the Terra Blast. And because I am so fat on the special side, that really, it's super effective, but it barely does any damage. And that's Life Orb too. That's crazy. So I do go for the Discharge. It's not going to be very effective because he changed his type, and my opponent's going to go for another Terra Blast. And yeah, that still doesn't even kill. Love Disc is some trash, but anyway, I just go for the Ice Beam. That's going to kill the Love Disc. So I was really surprised that my opponent like wasted their Terra on Love Disc, but I mean that's a good thing for me, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why anybody uses Love Disc. But anyway, my opponent's going to bring out the Cryogonal now, and he's going to go for the Rapid Spin, getting rid of my Stealth Rocks, which kind of sucks, but it's whatever at this point. And that is going to kill off my Lantern. So now he got rid of my rocks. I'm just going to bring out the Whimsicott, and I'm just going to go ahead and set up the Sun here, and I think I'm just going to let Whimsicott go to this Cryogonal to try to set up for Victreebel. So my opponent's going to go for the Freeze Dry, and that is going to absolutely obliterate poor Whimsicott there. But that frees me up to bring out good old Dick Lips, the Victreebel. And in the Sun, as I said earlier in the video, I do get a 2x speed boost. And I'm going to go ahead and pop my Terra now on Terra Fire. And I sped up the animations because this shit takes fucking forever. So I go for the Weather Ball in the Sun, super effective. And I also get the Terra Boost or whatever. That is going to annihilate that Cryogonal. Cryogonal wants no part of the Sun at all. And I'm going to take some Life Orb Recoil. My opponent is going to bring out the Vivillon. Now this thing, I was really scared because I don't know, like playing Strangers, I found this guy off a Discord server for ZU tier battles. I didn't know if he knew about the Sleep Claws or not, but thankfully he does. And yeah, so Sleep moves, Smogon has banned them now, so I don't have to worry about this thing putting me to sleep. So I hit it with a first Weather Ball, and that's going to bring it down to its sash, and he doesn't go for the Sleep Powder, he goes for Quiver Dance instead, thankfully for me. And I'm able to outspeed him with the Sun and go for a second Weather Ball, and that is going to thankfully kill Vivillon, because that thing that thing can be scary if you're using the old Vivillon tech. So I'm gonna take some more life orb recoil. My opponent brings out this damn Pyroar though. And this Pyroar set is crazy. He told me after the battle. So I go for the Sludge Wave, honestly thinking that Victreebel was gonna clean up shop here. Apparently, there's one person on this planet rocking AV Pyroar, and I fucking found him. So he has Assault Vest on this Pyroar, and he lives the Sludge Wave and is able to kill my freaking Victreebel. And yeah, that's really, really unfortunate because he's got a Primeape in the back. And honestly, now I don't have anything for that Primeape. So I'm just going to go for the Mach Punch on the Pyroar that is going to kill the Pyroar. But yeah, I've got nothing for this freaking Primeape. This thing is a demon. And with Eviolite now, this thing is so bulky. And he goes for the bulk up. I just go for the close combat because it's honestly the strongest move I got against this thing, and it doesn't even do half. It's really sad. So yeah, I'm gonna take a defense and special defense drop, and I figured I'm gonna die here. I'm just gonna go for Mach Punch for some more damage. And yeah, he's got Drain Punch though, so that's gonna heal him up. And yeah, this is this is not a great situation for me. So I'm just gonna go for another Mach Punch just to get chip damage, but I mean, at this point, it's a lost cause. He's just gonna Drain Punch Hitmontop, and I think I got one more Pokemon left. I think it's the little Marnie thing. I forgot its name. I don't remember what that thing's called. The little Kmart Pikachu thing. But anyway, yeah, that's my last Mon, and it's weak to this Primeape. There's absolutely nothing I can do. Especially when he's got that +1 defense boost, Aura Wheel just is not going to be able to cut it. Even Adamant Nature and everything. Yeah, he's just going to Drain Punch me into next week. And that is it for game 2. But that was a fantastic game. And yeah, look forward to the next one. And this is the part of the video where I must ask you to leave a like and a comment if you're enjoying the video so far. Even if you're not, comment anyway. Engagement. Feel free to recommend some mons you would like to see on the channel. Gotta appease the YouTube algorithm. Alright, we're back with game 3. My opponent is going to lead off with the Kamala as I lead off with my Lantern. Looking at my opponent's team, I wasn't really sure exactly what they were going to lead off with. Nothing like screamed lead in my opinion. But I figured Lantern was pretty safe, and I do have the Volt Switch, so I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch on out of here and bring out Hitmontop, because Hitmontop's basically my best way of getting rid of Kamala. Kamala's pretty bulky on the special side, but pretty frail on the physical side. My opponent's going to go for the knockoff, unfortunately getting rid of my heavy-duty boots, but it doesn't really do too much damage. And obviously not wanting to take the fighting move, my opponent swaps, and I knew he had the Drifblim in the back, and guys, finally, I land the triple axle on the ghost type, and it kills the Drifblim off the rip. I was so fucking excited when that shit happened. So I've been trying that shit all video, and it finally worked. So now my opponent makes a questionable play. He brings out the Alolan Exeggutor. He saw that I had triple axle, but he goes and pops his Terra. He's actually Terra Steel on this Exeggutor. I go for another triple axle and miss, but he's going to go for the Giga Drain. It actually does a decent amount of damage, and my opponent swaps. He doesn't want to take, I guess, a Mach Punch or whatever. He brings out the Typhlosion. I actually go for close combat knowing I'd outspeed him on the Exeggutor, and Typhlosion takes a fuckload of damage. And from that damage, I know that Mach Punch is going to kill this thing, so now I don't have to worry about Choice Scarf eruptions or whatever. So now my opponent's going to bring out Tree Fitty, and yeah, I think I just stay in here, and yeah, I just go for Mach Punch for damage. I know it's super effective. It does a decent amount. It does over half, and Hitmontop did really, really well this battle, and he deserves a rest. So unfortunately, Hitmontop is going to go down, but he really just like ran a train through my opponent's team. And speaking of running a train through my opponent's team, Morpeko comes out. Yes, I finally remembered its name. It's Morpeko. I go for the Aura Wheel. That is going to kill off the Lapras and give me a speed boost in the process. And then, so Morpeko has this weird ability called Hunger Switch, and every other turn it swaps between an electric and a dark type. So, and it also changes the type of Aura Wheel. So now I'm using a dark type Aura Wheel as he brings out Kamala. Now Kamala was kind of scary. He goes for the U-turn. It does a shitload of damage. And there's an amazing play coming up. So my opponent brings out the Snorlax, and I just go, well, first I gotta swap back into my normal form. I just keep spamming the Aura Wheel, and that does it does basically half to the Snorlax, and my opponent decides to get greedy, and this was huge. My opponent should not have gotten greedy here. And keep in mind, guys, I have the metronome on this Morpeko, so every time I use Aura Wheel, it gets 20% stronger. So now I decide to pop my Terra. I'm Terra Dark, and once you pop Terra Dark on Morpeko, it actually stays in its dark form. So I'm going to go for another Aura Wheel, and that is going to kill off the Snorlax with the Terra boost. And yeah, Morpeko is just running a train through my opponent's team. He brings out the Kamala, so I knew Kamala got Sucker Punch, but holy shit, fucking Morpeko lives on 2 HP and kills the Kamala with another Aura Wheel. This is the first time I've ever used Morpeko, and I think this was like my second battle that I did for this video. I honestly thought about doing a Morpeko showcase instead. But yeah, so I go for another Aura Wheel as my opponent brings out the Exeggutor, and it just one-shots the Exeggutor. This thing is a fucking demon. And I think that is it. I'm pretty sure that was my opponent's last mon. So good game, Devin. That was Morpeko just popped the fuck off. Alright, so it's been a while since I uploaded a video, and I figured I owe you guys because I've kept you waiting so long, so I'm going to give you guys a bonus battle. And looking at my opponent's team, he did not pay any attention to the rules that I asked for. I asked for a ZU tier battle, but my opponent is bringing an OU tier team. So it was still a good battle, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. Alright, we're on battle 4, and my opponent is going to lead off with the Glimmora as I lead off with my Hitmontop. I kind of figured this thing would probably just try to set up entry hazards or whatever, but they go for the Mortal Spin, and unfortunately that's going to now poison my Hitmontop. So I'm going to go for the close combat. I know these things are typically focus sashed, and I was just going to go for the Mach Punch on the second turn. But I'm going to be honest, this battle, my opponent like completely outplayed me the majority of this batch. So I had to do a lot of catching up. So now I set up a layer of Toxic Spikes due to this thing's stupid ability, and he goes for the Spiky Shield. So now it's a pretty bad day to be a Hitmontop right now. So I'm going to take some additional passive damage, and then every turn I'm going to take a round of poison. So at least it's not badly poison. It's just like it's like the lesser bad version. So I'm just going to go for the triple axle here. I didn't want to over predict or anything. I know that they have the Mimikyu in the back, and I don't know, it just seems like it's a theme in this video. I go for triple axle on ghost types. You could have like a drinking game on the amount of times I went for triple axle on a ghost type. But anyway, I hit the Mimikyu, it breaks its disguise, but one thing I didn't realize is if the opponent has the red card, you don't get off your other 2 hits of triple axle apparently. So it's going to bring me out into the Lantern now, which is going to take another, or not another round, but it's going to take a round of Toxic Spikes, so that sucks. Again, at least it's not badly poisoned, but it still is not great. So my opponent is going to set up the Swords Dance there as I try to go for the Discharge, trying to get a para, and I actually do get it finally. It's like really rare for me to get a para with Discharge, but it happened finally. And I just go for another Discharge. I actually outspeed him, I was shocked. But unfortunately he lives on like a sliver of health, and he has the Leech Life, and that's going to give him a lot of HP back. Lantern has a shitload of HP, so... And unfortunately for Lantern, he is going to pass away from the Toxic Spike. So now, I guess I could have brought in Victreebel to get rid of the Toxic Spikes, but I just decided to go out into the Regirock instead, as my opponent is going to swap out now, bringing back out the Glimmora. This damn Glimmora is like... it's been a problem for me. It was like that damn Snorlax earlier. So I go for the Stealth Rocks there. I know this thing's just gonna get rid of him going for its like Mortal Spin or whatever. It's like it's like a better rapid spin, but it poisons the opponent or whatever. So they actually go for the spiky shield, and I just go for earthquake. It doesn't make contact, so I'm not going to take any passive damage from that. I'm still going to take a little bit of toxic damage though, but it's not getting bad yet. So I do go for the earthquake again, as my opponent is going to mortal spin me. That is going to get rid of my stealth rocks, but at least I can get rid of this damn Glamora, because it was rustling my jimmies for sure. And now, unfortunately, I have both layers of toxic spikes on my side. So now every time I bring in a new mon, unless it's Victreebel, everybody's going to get badly poisoned. So at some point, I was kind of hoping I would have a moment to bring Victreebel in to get rid of these toxic spikes. So my opponent now is going to bring out Kinky, which is this new Tentacruel looking thing. It's I can't even remember this thing's name. But anyway, I don't know. I kind of was expecting Regirock to die. I just went for the sun, and he knocks off my heat rock, and then he goes for lunge. I decided to go for the stealth rocks again, because I really want my rocks up. It would be nice just to get that little chip damage each turn. It's like an insurance policy, especially when I'm like very, very behind. But unfortunately for me, my opponent has other plans for me, because he has rapid spin on this damn thing too. So he's just going to go for the rapid spin. I'm just going to go for the stone edge, trying to get a crit or something. I know it's not the most damage, but I mean, honestly, Regirock can't really do anything to... I think it's Toadscruel. Yeah, Toadscruel is its name. So he's just going to kill me off with a foul play. So now I'm just going to bring out the Hitmontop, as it's pretty much my best option to hit this thing. I do have triple axle, but I've kind of figured I really want to try to get rid of these toxic spikes, because that's really a problem for me right now. So unfortunately for me, I go for the rapid spin as they bring in the Mimikyu, so that's obviously not going to work. I'm going to take another round of poison, and now I'm just going to go for triple axle. I just want this thing dead at this point. So... Yet another triple axle on a ghost type, so you guys would be drunk off your ass if you did like a drinking game every time I did that. But anyway, finally that Mimikyu dies, and that's a pretty massive threat out of the way. So yeah, I'm going to take another round of poison. My opponent is now going to bring out the Kingdra. So this thing, it's still a bit of a threat, but it's not as big of a threat if it's out of range. So I just go for the Mach Punch. I know that Hitmontop is basically just going to die here. So my opponent actually whips out the Draco Meteor, and that is going to obviously annihilate Hitmontop from the amount of health it was at. So that brings me into Whimsicott. So I get badly poisoned, unfortunately, and I just go for the Moonblast. Honestly, this thing, he goes for the Terra Water, but my opponent gets a little bit greedy, and that kind of saved me in this battle a little bit. My opponent goes for the Focus Energy, but I outspeed him. So I can, next turn, I just go for the Energy Ball, I believe. And because he's now Mono Water type, that is super effective. And that is that is a dead Kingdra. So I think my opponent is going to, let's see, I think they bring out the Toadscruel next, if I'm not mistaken, and there's, God, these turns take forever because all the all the little effects and stuff. So yeah, Toadscruel comes out, Kinky. All right, so I just go for the U-turn. It is super effective, but it doesn't do too much damage. I mean, Whimsicott's attack stat is like non-existent. So I'm gonna bring out the Morpeko now, and I was kind of hoping that Morpeko would have a repeat of that one battle where it popped off, but my opponent's just going to lunge. It is super effective. It does about half, and it is going to drop my attack, but we'll see here. That actually kind of doesn't really matter because Morpeko's just that much of a demon. So I do go for the R wheel, and it is resisted, I think, but it still manages to kill Kinky here. So I do get a speed boost, and I'm going to take another round of the poison damage. But I'm really glad that Toadscruel's gone, because that thing it's just really bulky, and it just sits on the field forever, and it has healing and whatnot. So now this is a crazy turn. So my opponent brings out this Grimmsnarl, goes for the Reflect, which normally is scary as shit. Morpeko fucking decides it's gonna fucking crit him, so the attack drop didn't matter. It's gonna hit through the reflect. So Morpeko just annihilates the fucking Grimmsnarl. And so that is great for me. So we're definitely clawing our way back in this battle. It started off rough. So I'm just gonna go for damage on this Imbor. It doesn't really do a whole lot, it's resisted. But Morpeko put in the finest of work in this video. I was stoked on Morpeko. So my opponent is gonna go for Curse. It's gonna raise his attack and defense while lowering his speed. And he's got some leftovers. Oh my god, these turns take forever. I'm gonna take another round of freaking toxic damage. So now my my only saving grace at this point is Victreebel. So I pretty much have to go out into Whimsicott now and basically just set up the sun and die to whatever this Imbor wants to do to me. So it's a little terrifying setting up the sun for my opponent being a fire type, but he's just going to go for the Gyro Ball, and that is going to kill Whimsicott. And now it is down to both me and my opponent have one Mon left. So he's got the Imbor, I've got Victreebel, I'm in the sun, I've got +2 speed right now. And I decide that I'm going to Terra Fire because it resists his fire attacks, and then also it resists the Gyro Ball. And I decide that my best course of action is to go for the growth because honestly, I need like every amount of power I can get. This Imbor is fat. And so my opponent goes for the Gyro Ball. It's resisted now. So it still does a decent amount of damage, but it basically would have killed me before. So now my opponent reveals that he does have the Sucker Punch. So that is terrifying. And I don't think I've ever won the Sucker Punch mind game with anyone before. So I just keep spamming growth. So I go for, I think that's like number 3 now. So I'm at max attack, max special attack, and +2 speed now. And I just keep going. I keep going for the growth, making his Sucker Punch fail. And I decide on like the 5th one, I'm just going to go for it. So unfortunately for me, I go for the Sludge Wave. And wouldn't you know it, my opponent keeps going for the Sucker Punch. I mean, as he should. Like, I feel like if I was in his shoes, I would have done the same thing. I would have just spammed that one move. But anyway, them's the breaks. My opponent played well. Honestly, completely outplayed me this battle. I had no business coming back the way I did. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Toodles.